These lenses cost more than what most people spend on their eyeglasses, and for weeks I've been making them go through everything on a daily basis. As an optometrist, I have been observing patients, and what I noticed is the fact that traditionally progressive lenses have been designed for distance and then transition to near. The biggest pain point that lies for most progressive lens users is the zone that is the most important in today's modern lifestyle. I'm talking about tablets, laptop screens, computers, as well as meeting people face to face. Yes, this is the intermediate zone that most people find troublesome while getting adapted to their progressive lenses. The intermediate zone essentially is the distance somewhere between 50 centimeters to 1.5 meters away from your face. This zone lies between the distance portion of your progressive lens and the near portion. And this is where most people drop out using progressive lenses or find it uncomfortable to adjust. The product that I have put onto these eyeglass frames is the Nikon Presio Digilife progressive lens. Yes, it's the same Nikon company that you may have heard of from their camera lenses or their cameras. The latest being the Z contrast series cameras that have been well known for taking really high quality pictures. Now Nikon uses that same technology for their optical lenses as well. And to be very honest, I had no idea how comfortable they would be. But first, let's talk about my frame. Previously, I have been using a smaller eyeglass frame size, and somehow I was really not uncomfortable with it. But at this point of time, I decided to go for a slightly bigger frame. Now, the biggest question in progressive lenses is, how will the design adjust to different sizes of spectacle frames? And thanks to the Nikon's NODE, that is the Nikon Optical Design Engine, they have been able to engineer across this entire size and shape of my eyeglass frame a progressive lens that enables me to enjoy all three distances relatively very comfortably with very smooth transition from the distance portion to the intermediate and then finally at the bottom to the near. What's really good about choosing a slightly bigger frame size is that it helped me to have a slightly more meatier zone for the intermediate, which means I had less movements to do and more easier focus for my computer, laptop and my tablet work. And also I had an extended near zone which enabled me to read better for my paperwork as well as my cell phone without having to move my head all the way up or move it sideways. Let's talk about the adaptation period. When I got these eyeglasses, for the first 1.5 hours to 2 hours, it felt a little different. Not because there was anything wrong with the measurements or with the power of my lens or with the way it was fitted. It's just how a progressive lens works. It's just simple physics. This is how a progressive lens usually gets adapted to your system. And because I was wearing a smaller frame, from a smaller frame to a bigger frame meant a slight different behavior of my visual system. But you will be surprised. By the end of the first half of the day, by lunchtime, I was already addicted to these lenses. It felt like the lenses just met my eye and my eyes just met the lenses, and I was very comfortable with them. Now let's talk about the distance to near transition. Well, with the application of the Nikon Optical Design Engine in these lenses, I have been able to have a very smooth transition from the distance portion to the near portion without that transition-y feel that you usually get with lower quality, lower technology progressive lenses. The movement from far to near feels just very natural for my daily tasks. And when I look from my right to my left to the sides, you know that swimming effect that you get usually with your progressives? It feels like you're underwater. Well, with these lenses, it just feels like I'm not wearing my eyeglasses at all and I don't have an eyeglass prescription anymore. It just feels like my natural eyesight. And what's more is the fact that when I look to my periphery, specifically where they say that your blurry zones of your progressive lenses are, it feels absolutely almost clear at the edges too. And that's something that most progressive lens users, especially patients that I come across, have encountered. That slight amount of blurriness you get at the aberration zones of your progressive lenses, as well as the swimming effect, that really is sometimes a turn off for them to get used to a progressive lens. With the Presio Digilife, I have not encountered any of these problems. Now, I'm going to come to the intermediate zone of this progressive lens, especially because The Presio Digilife has been specifically made for people with a modern digital lifestyle. Well, what's a modern digital lifestyle exactly? It's more of laptops, computer screens, multiple screens, tablets, and interacting with people as well, all at the same time. And that's where the Presio Digilife has been engineered to have a really wide and meaty intermediate zone. When I was using these eyeglasses for the first time on my computer laptop screen, it felt like there was no need for me virtually to move my head sideways to look at the edges of the screen. It was just right there. Everything just fit in within the lens window, absolutely without any extra efforts on my part. I'll give kudos to Nikon. What about the near zone? Well, when it comes to the near zone, I have been experiencing quite a smooth transition, as I said, from distance to intermediate to near. And what I feel is that with these progressives, I can literally look till the bottom of the lens with clear near vision without putting in any extra effort. Now let's talk about the material of the lens. I went for a 1.60 refractive index material lens. Now the reason why I did so is because the material is known to be strong and durable as well as lightweight, flat and thin. It not only is structurally good for my spectacle frame, but also it's aesthetically better and flatter. That makes wearing these eyeglasses a little more comfortable and cosmetically looking better. Along with these glasses, I went for the C-Coat Next coating, which is the premium anti-reflection coating from Nikon. When I was using these glasses and trying to wipe these lenses clean, it worked very nicely. Water droplets roll off very cleanly from the surface of the lens. And as I said again, cleaning them with a microfiber is a breeze. Let's talk about the ProBlue UV function. With these lenses, I get an inbuilt UV protection as well as high energy visible blue light protection on these eyeglasses. Now, what it does is that it helps me to be more comfortable outdoors, and I know that my eyes are protected from dangerous UV light. Additionally, the high energy visible blue light that is filtered keeps my eyes more comfortable and more relaxed by the end of the day, keeping into account that I have a very heavy digital lifestyle. So now, here comes the big question. Should you actually go for these lenses? The point is that every eye is made different. But the other point also to note is that almost everyone nowadays is using like laptops, computers, and tablets at work. And this is something that is mostly unavoidable. I would also like to say that mostly the near work that we do in our daily routine is not something which is really up close to your face. It's talking to your colleague across the desk, your client at the dinner table, it's with your family, and probably when you are in a closed space, like in a bedroom and you're trying to watch a movie on your laptop or on the TV, it is mostly close to the intermediate space. And having this zone nice and wide and comfortable enough to do these tasks without having to put in a lot of effort is a major relief to progressive lens users. Would I recommend the Nikon Presio Digilife progressive lenses to you? Well, that's for you to decide. If you have a digital lifestyle with a lot of laptop usage and a lot of office desk work and a lot of intermediate distance work as well, or any leisure activity which demands a lot of space at the distance between 50 centimeters to 1.5 meters, I would say this is a really good bet. What's more is the fact that it has the promise and backup of a more than 100-year-old company, Nikon, and this is the first time that I've used their progressive lenses and it has blown me away. So in my opinion, it's a yes. But of course, I would leave that to you and your eye care practitioner's advice as to what product fits you the best. Well, I hope this video was informative to you. If you have any questions about these progressive lenses, drop a comment in the comment box and I'll reply. Sometimes your comments become my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay curious about your vision health and take care of your eyes. Bye-bye.